Indonesia is one of the world's largest food wasters, throwing away over 115 kilograms of food per person each year. Yet, millions in the country still struggle for food every day and go to bed hungry. Those unable to obtain sufficient and nutritious food end up with health issues. I take a look at Indonesia's food waste problem and its irony.
It's 9 a.m. and the sound of excavators leveling trash from these piles of garbage emits loud noises. Some of these piles can reach up to 40 meters high. That's about 12 stories of a building.
Jakarta produces 7,500 tons of trash daily. Most of it is sent here to Bantar Gebang, a landfill southeast of the capital. According to research by the Jakarta Environmental Agency, over 50% of that waste consists of leftover food.
Indonesia ranks among the world's largest food wasters. According to a recent government report analyzing 20 years' worth of data, 23 to 48 million metric tons of food was thrown annually from 2000 to 2019. That's between 115 to 184 kilograms per capita per year, and costing the country between 15 to 39 billion US dollars a year in economic losses, or up to 5% of Indonesia's GDP. Food waste losses occur across all stages of the supply chain and consumption. These include processing, storage, transportation, and consumer wastage, which is the highest contributor to food waste. Food banks like Food Cycle Indonesia are one way to mitigate the problem. The food bank distributes surplus food items from sources such as wedding parties, bakeries, corporate lunches, supermarkets, and FMCGs, and helps to feed some 120,000 people every year. But it's an uphill battle. Chogito Ergo Sumadirasan, General Manager of Food Cycle Indonesia, says more is needed by way of food, funding, partners, and volunteers.
Menurut Mas Chogi, tantangan terbesarnya itu seperti apa, Mas Chogi?
Tantangan terbesar sebenarnya untuk meyakinkan ya, untuk mengajak ya banyak pihak untuk terlibat dalam hal ini. Karena kalau ditanya memberikan donasi makanan, khususnya makanan yang layak makan, mereka kadang-kadang khawatir. Corporate itu khawatir brand mereka bisa jatuh kalau mereka memberikan makanan yang dianggapnya tidak layak, padahal masih sangat layak ya.
One such corporation is McDonald's. The fast food giant partnered with Food Cycle Indonesia in 2020 after seeing a surplus in unsold food during the pandemic. Now, up to 4 kilograms of food is set aside per day. And as part of its food rescue program, fried products like chicken and nuggets, baked goods like cookies and muffins that are on display past their allocated holding time are collected twice a day and donated. Holding times for various food items vary. Chicken, for example, has a holding time of 80 minutes.
Kami buang ya, maksudnya kami harus musnahkan ya, karena sudah tidak sesuai dengan holding time kami. Tapi bukan berarti makanan itu tidak layak untuk dimakan sebetulnya.
Becoming a partner to Food Cycle Indonesia meant the company had to weigh in on several factors. Accountability was a major concern.
Kita tidak mungkin memberikan makanan yang tidak baik gitu. Kami sebelum melakukan ini, kami juga melakukan uji coba di laboratorium terlebih dahulu gitu. Apakah makanan ini layak untuk diberikan kepada orang lain gitu ya. Lalu kami memutuskan untuk bahwa ternyata setelah hasil uji coba tersebut mendapatkan hasil yang baik gitu ya, dan memiliki makanan itu masih memiliki nutrisi yang baik.
Food Cycle Indonesia also performs a food assessment based on 3 key points: aroma, texture, and taste. Food that passes the assessment gets distributed to various communities and marginalized groups. While Indonesia has a number of food banks in operation, experts say these aren't enough to fix the country's trash problem.
Definitely, we have to change the behavior of the people. It has to be done in tandem, working with the government, with the private sector, with the academia, with the media, with all relevant stakeholders, youth groups, we have to look, as I said, we have to look at the whole value chain and find out where exactly the more losses and waste are happening.
Data from the National Waste Management Information System shows Indonesia generated more than 21 million tons of trash in 2021. Over 40% consisted of leftover food. While this is one part of Indonesia's challenge, authorities say another is separating the waste properly. Organic and inorganic waste ultimately get lumped together in garbage trucks. The food waste ending up in landfills, creating greenhouse gases like methane, and undermining Indonesia's commitment to reducing its greenhouse emission by 29% from a business-as-usual scenario by 2030. Jakarta authorities say segregation will help in better waste disposal and encourages recycling. And authorities are working on an official regulation to prevent food waste.
Jadi nanti ke depannya akan ada NGO ataupun teman-teman dari NGO yang akan menyelamatkan sisa makanan tersebut. Paling enggak, contohnya misalnya nasi yang memang nasi putih yang banyak sisanya itu nanti akan diolah menjadi nasi goreng gitu Mbak. Yang itu nanti bisa kita salurkan juga kepada yayasan, kepada kaum-kaum warga masyarakat yang membutuhkan, dan berbagai macam proses pengolahan makanan juga sedang kita upayakan.
And while all these measures may be steps in the right direction, Indonesia will need to work harder to climb its mountain of trash. Coming up next, an excess of food, yet a stunting problem. We'll take a look at Indonesia's fight against stunting and malnutrition. Tucked away in a house in East Nusa Tenggara's Ngorang village, local health workers are conducting a monthly pregnancy class.
Stunting itu adalah kondisi gagal tumbuh pada anak akibat kekurangan gizi dan kebersihan yang buruk.
Sebagai ibu baru, kita tahunya dari mana bahwa anak kita itu terdampak stunting?
Untuk menetapkan dia benar-benar stunting atau tidak itu usia 2 tahun ke atas. Tapi dari usia 0 itu sudah bisa kita ketahui kalau pemeriksaan tiap bulan di posyandunya tinggi badannya itu tidak naik, tidak sesuai dengan status gizi atau tidak sesuai dengan umur bayi.
According to a government survey in 2021, stunting prevalence in East Nusa Tenggara province was the highest in the country, having reached 38%. This is far more than the 20% tolerance limit set by the World Health Organization. Expectant mothers are taught the good health, hygiene, food habits, good pregnancy and postpartum practices in the monthly classes. Elsewhere in the village, midwives are undertaking a routine refresher course, including a session on meals, to improve their knowledge and skills, which will in turn help them to prevent stunting and provide better support for families.
Ya, di sini kalau untuk yang berdasarkan mapping masalah stunting kami, mapping stunting kami itu, kalau kami ada di dalam rumah itu mungkin kalau untuk makanan dibuang-buang itu tidak di dalam keluarga, tapi prioritas alokasi dari dana itu. Salah satu contoh pagi itu kepala keluarga ada uang 20.000. Nah, 20.000 itu diperuntukkan apa? Misalnya beras sudah ada. Nah, yang 20.000 itu misalnya untuk membelikan rokok bapaknya saja sudah pas. Sehingga anak hanya dikasih nasi sama kopi.
Over in Pasir Panjang village, a short boat ride away from the capital, stunting prevalence is high, having reached 33.6% as of February this year. 28-year-old teacher Mariati is worrying about her daughter Tanya. At a little over 4 years old, she weighs just over 12 kilograms.
tak terlalu suka makan buah. Cuman yang dia suka itu roti, biskuit kayak ini, sama itu yang abon, yang istilahnya kayak malkis ini. Terus itu ikan masak yang kuah sama telur.
Another parent, Juliana, is equally concerned about her daughter, Nadifa.
Kan dia kurang makan nasi, kurang makanan-makanan yang bergizi kan. Terus sekarang saya kasih makanan yang lebih bergizi lagi, membiasakan dia makanan yang bergizi kan kemarin-kemarin suka makanan cepat saji.
This mindset is a challenge for local healthcare workers, as well as NGOs like the 1,000 Days Fund. The organization is named after the first 1,000-day period from the time a child is born until they are 2 years old, a critical period after which brain damage and other negative impacts of stunted growth cannot be reversed. The organization has set up Indonesia's first impact stunting center of excellence in Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara's capital, where they train and equip frontline health workers, distribute smart blankets and smart charts like this one, which measure a child's height and assesses their nutritional needs, and support health workers on the ground in whichever way possible for the cause.
Mereka masih belum tahu tadi mungkin 80% dari perkembangan otak itu terjadi dalam 1000 hari pertama kehidupan. Lagi-lagi ini sebetulnya kita juga terus-menerus mengulang itu. Jadi kita memang ini bukan jalan yang mudah, bukan yang instan juga dalam satu kali datang ke rumah lalu selesai, itu tidak mungkin terjadi. Kita harus melakukan itu hingga 9 kali, 10 kali atau bahkan 20 kali dan kami akan melakukan itu.
Kalau dibilang sebagai masalah serius, ini masalah serius. Apalagi memang juga untuk nasional sendiri ini menjadi prioritas gitu. Tetapi apakah masyarakat menganggap ini masalah serius? Nah, itu lain lagi.
Since distributing smart posters in 120,000 homes in 30 provinces nationwide, including East Nusa Tenggara, families with babies under the age of 2 have adopted better caregiving practices and are more aware of the issue.
Memang kami belum kenal yang namanya stunting dulu. Nah, kami kenal stunting itu semenjak dia umur 3 tahun, itu baru kami dapat stikernya. Nah, di situ baru kami tahu bahwa oh ternyata ada juga yang namanya stunting.
Matilde's second daughter, Micheliana, is almost 5, but hasn't met her required height and weight. Local health officials say they're looking to involve communities, local leaders, and key figures in the push for awareness on the issue, in the hopes that communities recognize the gravity of the situation and encourage each other to take action.
Apakah dengan cara memberikan edukasi atau memberikan informasi, itu kan tidak membutuhkan biaya. Jadi kepedulian, nah itu kita dorong.
Indonesia's National Population and Family Planning Board is also working to raise awareness with a collaborative effort, an information system, and prioritize providing for those who are vulnerable to stunting.
Membangun sinergitas kolaborasi ini kan tantangan tersendiri. Bagaimana antar kementerian lembaga, bagaimana antar dinas, bagaimana antar lembaga-lembaga di desa itu bisa bersatu bersama-sama menghilangkan egoisme sektoral. Ini tantangan yang juga tidak ringan. Tetapi kita coba dengan konvergensi tadi, kita ciptakan musuh bersama. Musuh kita adalah stunting. Memang perlu change of behavior.
Indonesia has seen its national stunting prevalence steadily decline from 27.6% in 2019 to 24.4% in 2021. The country is looking to reduce stunting prevalence to 14% by 2024. But shifting mindsets may prove to be a difficult task, despite efforts in the right direction. Coming up next, thousands of people in Indonesia make a living from landfills. And for some, it's a source of food. 54-year-old Johnny has been sorting and separating trash at this landfill in West Java for over 30 years. He works over 10 hours a day and earns up to 10 US cents for every kilogram of plastic waste he separates. Oftentimes, he eats the food items he finds here.
Bapak makan?
Iya, makan sendiri.
Biasanya yang Bapak makan di sini seperti apa, Pak?
Roti, itu semangka, melon, pokoknya asal bagus dimakan. Iya.
He isn't the only one. Also in his 50s, Kisto has worked here for the past 2 years. Besides food, he also rummages for instant drink mixtures, such as energy drinks, which he prefers consuming over water, as he believes it allows him to have more energy to work. He says he finds edible food items in the trash at least 3 times a week.
Saya udah 2 tahun kalau makan makanan gini jarang sakit perut gitu. Gitu jarang. Kadang-kadang kalau yang di warung itu kadang-kadang yang udah kayak gini juga sakit itu. Kalau yang sama enggak itu heran kok. Kadang-kadang kan juga diarahin jangan sering makanan yang kayak itulah katanya. Habis gimana ya perut saya kadang-kadang lapar nggak bawa uang itu ya.
Johnny and Kisto are 2 of about 400 Indonesians working at this landfill, where household waste is the largest contributor. Almost 80% of the trash thrown in this landfill consists of leftover food. Technical officer on the ground, Tony Kurniadi, says there is no shortage of food items thrown away, from fruit to rice and meat. And people, he says, need to be more judicious of how they consume food.
Kan kadang gini ya, ada orang yang sebutannya kalau ada makanan busuk sedikit itu aja kan harusnya bisa dibuang, yang busuknya, yang sisa, yang tidak busuknya itu kan masih bisa dikonsumsi. Terkadang mereka nggak mau karena dia pikir sudah busuk, akhirnya dibuang seperti itu gitu. Jadi bukan budaya, lebih kepada gengsi kali ya.
According to the World Food Programme, 22.9 million people are unable to meet their dietary requirements. Despite increasing trends in food production and availability, the challenges of high food prices and unequal access to food remain unresolved, leaving those living below the poverty line behind, like 37-year-old Erciana. The mother of 3 had nowhere to go and no way to feed all of her children when she found herself on the streets in 2012, until she was directed to the Campus Diakonia Modern Foundation, an NGO that serves street children and marginalized communities. Since 2012 until now, she has stayed at the foundation 3 times, the longest being for nearly 2 years.
Kalau kita di luar, oke lah kita bebas gitu. Mau ngapain aja, nggak pernah diatur-atur, tapi disiplin kita itu nggak ada. Terus masalah kesehatan juga mempengaruhi dari lingkungan kan. Kalau di sini kan kita makan terjamin, lingkungannya juga lingkungan sehat gitu. Nggak ada yang terlalu dipusingkan untuk bisa nggak ya saya makan besok gitu.
Established in 1972, the Campus Diakonia Modern Foundation, or KDM, provides lodging, meals, support, and education for those in need. While they prioritize children, families and adults are also welcome and are not only rehabilitated but also encouraged to get jobs, be self-supporting, get their lives back on track, and stay off the streets. With meals being provided 5 times a day, Andik, a social worker at KDM, says food is one of the factors that brings people from marginalized groups to the foundation.
Salah satu bagian kenapa mereka bisa tinggal di jalan atau mereka tinggal di tempat yang tidak layak adalah memang masalah ekonomi. Ekonomi tentunya kita kalau ngomong ekonomi pasti makanan ada di situ, ada unsur makanan di situ. Jadi kalau Kak Jani tadi ngomong apakah makanan menjadi sebuah faktor juga kenapa mereka akhirnya tinggal di jalan dan akhirnya ke sini? Iya, itu salah satu faktor yang memang mereka memilih untuk udah deh daripada gua capek-capek makan, nyari makanan segala macam, ya udah gua tinggal di KDM atau di yayasan.
The foundation also conducts rescue missions in order to foster closer relationships with those on the street.
I'm joining a rescue mapping activity where members of the foundation determine the distribution points for street children and marginal communities.
During such activities, social workers like Andik approach members of marginalized communities and offer to lend them support, in the hopes that they may be encouraged to accept help and become independent. We approach a group of buskers.
Kalau dapat makanan itu biasa dari mana?
Ya biasanya sih ngamen-ngamen, kita habis itu beli makan. Kadang juga kalau jalan jauh gitu kemana, nyari-nyari di itu.
Di mana?
Ya kayak di tempat sampah gitu, kadang juga pernah kayak gitu, kayak bekas orang gitu, di warung makan.
Dan biasanya kalau yang ditemukan itu macam apa?
Ya kayak ayam cuma bekas.
According to a recent government report analyzing 20 years worth of data from 2000 to 2019, food waste constituted more than 100 kilograms per capita per year. According to Rajendra Aryal from the Food and Agriculture Organization, food loss and waste is a multi-dimensional problem. Huge greenhouse gas emissions caused out of food loss and waste, along with economic losses between 15 and 39 billion US dollars every year.
And now if you look from the social lens, just imagine the quantity of food lost or wasted vis-a-vis the number of people that could be fed with that. So approximately, with the quantity of food lost or wasted, probably you can feed more than 60 million people.
While organizations like Campus Diakonea Modern Foundation can help those in need, more needs to be done to provide tangible and permanent solutions to Indonesia's food waste problem, which in turn will provide a lasting impact on the hungry.